Earlier on in 2025, I met up with Marcus and his crew from uni to do a bit about Melbourne's tunnels and cave clan. They also did some stuff with Alien and some others, as you'll see in the video. I did ask Marcus for permission to use his video as he was filming it, and he was like, yep, cool, that'd be good. But I've lost contact with him, so if the situation's changed, I'll take the video down. But this is all Marcus, nothing to do with me, other than I'm in it for a bit. These guys did a really good job putting this thing together. It's one of my favourite media student things we've done. I reckon this one went really well. Please enjoy.
It's a getaway from everything. I mean, like, when you walk in underground, just like, there's some people that you enjoy being with. It's easy to forget about all the other shit going on.
It's not meant for humans. It's not a space where it's inviting for people. It's not a space that's been built for people. So it's a completely inhuman space almost.
There's a whole lot of different emotions that you sort of have to work through exploring something that's, extremely arduous. It might be really low. And a lot of the time you might be convincing yourself that it's worth pushing on because it may lead to something better. It might lead to something that's a bit bigger. And so I think sometimes you're walking amongst ghosts in a way.
I used to have dreams as a little kid of being in a pipe. I think I've worked out later as I got older that I get migraines, and when I was a kid I used to get them sometimes and not realise what they were. I just remember the feeling, and used to get that sort of Doctor Who TARDIS, the going through the tunnel sort of thing, and I think it put it in my head. But when I first started secondary school, I was like, as soon as I get there I want to do this tunnel that I've heard about underneath school. I don't know where I heard it from, just other school students at primary school. So personally, I don't even know why I just had this desire to do it. The police, the ambulance or the fire truck, whatever it was, all that shit doesn't exist down here, so it's a great escape.
We are currently in Footscray Main Drain, which we call Cougar's Tomb. I probably gave away too much. No, I'm going to say it is in Footscray, you could probably tell. So this drain was built probably in stages. It would have been started in the 1930s. Previous to that, there would have been World War II, previous World War I infrastructure, and we've got the red brick, which is usually post World War I, pre-World War II, and then you've got the brick, which comes mostly after 1945. and we are in Cougar's Tomb because 30 years ago I jumped in here and I couldn't get out. My name's Claire, but with the Cave Clan, my clan name's Alien, and I've been exploring since 1991, so that's 34 years now. That was it.
There's a few people that will go in are interested in that side of it. Not me, not many people. I don't even like the smell of them, as you found out earlier today. But that's it, yeah. But the urbex side of it holds us all together. And there's people that just like going to tunnels. They don't like the social side of it. There's people that are like Alien, who you've met. She's really into finding out when it was a waterway, what was it called, the historical side of it.
Yeah, so I didn't know where the drain behind us led. All I knew that it got small, and when they say small, sometimes small can be just getting down and bobbing, and sometimes small can be getting on your belly and pushing through. And I wasn't very excited for the latter. So I just remember it being the moment when first time I was totally terrified on my own in a drain. I'm thinking, oh, where am I going to go? I don't want to get out. I don't know that area because I'm on my own, and I just remember how happy I was to come out of that canal down the end there, and then also to find out the canal was easy to get out of. That was probably good too.
I remember the first time super exactly. It was a series of open canals that were near where I was growing up. They were sort of wild, overgrown areas, and we had a few spots that we would go to along them. And then one day I think we just made an effort to walk, and we realized that all of these places were connected. And not only that, but at the end of this canal, it actually capped off and became a dark, pitch black concrete tunnel that sort of went off into the distance. So immediately the new mission was no longer going to those original places, it was seeing how far we could go up that. There were two different kinds of people who you'd go all this distance and then you'd go home and you'd think that was such a full-on day, it was so exhausting, I don't need to go back there again. And then the other people who would go to bed and just think, oh, I should have just gone further. There was a noise up ahead, or I saw a different pipeline that I need to go back to. And so I think that became a good motivator to go, I need to find this, and if there's one here, then there's got to be another one at this creek and that river, and just expanding out further and further.
So the pipe's that big. Now it's that deep full of water, and we're crawling against the water, and the water's hitting in the face. You're swallowing this disgusting warm storm water, like fresh right out of the gutters. And then we got out, and then we all went back to my place, but there's no mobile phones. But the funny thing is, and this is like, don't do this at home, kids. But I was never scared. I was excited. I remember giggling, and I remember it was just adrenaline. I could have been like one wave away of being killed, but it's like, it was like one of the most exciting things, But if it had been like another foot taller, like a bit heavier, if the water had been another, 30 centimetres deeper, we'd all be fucked.
And like the naive, hopeful, oh, maybe this gets bigger, which it doesn't. But, maybe it didn't know until we went down there. And then at the very end, there was some cave clan tags. This is when I'm like 13, probably. There was some cave clan tags down right at the very end. And I was like, oh, there's a group that does this. There must be other cool, it must not just be this one, there must be other cool holes around. So that's kind of why I started looking for more. Yeah.
I'm Dougo, one of the founding members of the Cave Clan. I've been exploring anything pretty much, but drains as well. Drains is what I seem to be known for. For myself over 40 years, and with the Cave Clan our 40th anniversary is next January 2026. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
I wanted to join the cave clan, but at the time I couldn't because the website was down, and I talked to some people in the cave clan, and they were just like, at this point, like, it's just kind of messy at the moment, like it's hard to join, just because of like stuff they had going on internally. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I'll just make my own thing. And then, yeah, me and a couple friends got together and did this. My name's Venture. I'm part of the Tunnel Toads, and I guess I'm one of the founders of the Tunnel Toads as well. Yeah.
I think the I was here style of marketing shows up in the drains and caves as well, and mines and these sorts of spaces, because people making markings are aware that they will last a long time. You walk through a drain and you're walking past people's signatures from the 80s, the 60s, the 50s, and even the 40s. So 80 years from now, it might still be there. And I think as well, the space is shared. No one really claims a drain, and signatures are always really small, which is also something that makes these sorts of markings different to regular graffiti, which is a bit more about claiming space.
I've always had a love for say dystopian, I guess you could say themes and stuff like that, and knowing that this applies more to topsides. Going to a place and knowing that people existed there, knowing that people lived their lives, worked their day there. There's like a million different stories of what happened in the place, and I find that fascinating. Like the place that we're looking at, that was once people's existence, that was their day-to-day life, and now it's just left. And when you can see traces, like when you can see like address books, when you can see like cards and shit, and it just makes it that much more, I don't know, real, personal.
I feel quite lucky when I'm in a drain. I feel like I get to know about something that other people might not get to know about, that I get to share this, that I get to find places to walk that you don't usually get to walk, and to get to explore rivers, creeks, waterways that otherwise have been hidden forever.
I mean, I've really been lucky. I've really enjoyed my life, and I've got through it without having, anxiety and any kind of stuff. I've been really lucky, and I put a lot of it down to this. Like, at my house now, I spend 6.5 days a week at my house. My daughter takes up a lot of my time. I'm doing a job that I'm finding quite hard and all that. So today's just been really relaxing for me. I'm glad the way my life went. Like my older brother used to always hassle me. He owns like 6 houses and property, and I don't have any regrets. And I don't mean that in that sort of wanky way. I literally mean I wouldn't change anything. I don't really want. I'm happy being mates with kooky guys like Jub Jub, and all that sort of stuff. So, nah.
I mean, for everyone it's different. Like, a lot of us have friends outside of this, but some of us don't. Like, for a lot of us, this is our social. So yeah, I think it's very, like, some people would have no friends if it wasn't for this, which I think is really important. Yeah. I used to say this thing, good times and cool places with cool people. Yeah, I think that's all it's about.